Imagine holding a penny in your hand and not realizing it could be worth tens of thousands of dollars, or even more. Today we're exploring 6 remarkable Lincoln pennies, each with a story, a secret, and the potential to surprise even the most seasoned collectors. From coins quietly tucked away in jars to pennies with rare mistakes that collectors chase for years, these 6 coins could be hiding treasures you never expected. Stay with me because what seems ordinary could be life-changing. First up is a penny that has puzzled collectors for decades, the 1964 Lincoln cent, believed to be part of a special mint set, often called a 1964 SMS Lincoln Penny, without a mint mark and found today in circulated condition. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary old penny. It may be brown, worn, and dull from years of handling. Most people would never imagine that a coin like this could be special. But in rare cases, this exact type of penny has reached jaw-dropping prices. The mystery begins in 1964, a year when the U.S. Mint was under extreme pressure. Coin shortages were happening across the country, and the mint was producing massive numbers of cents, nickels, dimes, and quarters. Official special mint sets were not supposed to begin until 1965. However, a small number of coins dated 1964 exist with finishes and striking qualities that match what later became known as SMS coins. These 1964 SMS pennies were struck with higher pressure, sharper dies, and special preparation, giving them smoother surfaces and more detail than regular circulation cents. They were never officially announced, and the mint has never fully explained why they exist. That mystery alone has made them legendary in the collecting world. All genuine 1964 SMS Lincoln cents were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which means they do not carry a mint mark. The design shows Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the front, with Liberty to the left and the date 1964 to the right. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial with United States of America and 1 cent. Even when a suspected 1964 SMS penny is found in circulated condition, collectors still pay close attention. That is because only a tiny number are believed to exist. Specialists estimate that fewer than 50 genuine examples are known today. Many may have been lost, spent, or damaged before anyone realized what they were. The key to identifying an SMS penny is not just the date. Collectors look for unusually sharp details, squared rims, and smooth, satin-like surfaces. The strike often appears stronger than normal, even on worn examples. These traits help experts separate SMS coins from ordinary 1964 cents. Now here is where the story becomes truly shocking. Verified 1964 SMS Lincoln pennies have sold at auction for enormous sums. High-grade examples have brought over $100,000. One particularly well-preserved example stunned the coin world when it sold for more than $180,000. That price placed it among the most valuable Lincoln cents ever sold. Even a circulated example, if authenticated as a genuine 1964 SMS cent, could realistically be worth tens of thousands of dollars. The exact value depends on how much of the original SMS surface remains and how strong the strike details still appear. This means that a worn, brown 1964 penny sitting in a jar or old collection should never be dismissed without a closer look. Most 1964 pennies are common, but a tiny handful are historic rarities hiding in plain sight. The 1964 SMS Lincoln cent represents one of the greatest mysteries in American coinage. It reminds collectors that not every treasure looks shiny or new. Sometimes, the most valuable coins are the ones that look the most ordinary. So if you ever come across a 1964 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, take your time. Examine the surfaces, look at the rims, study the sharpness of the design. That small, worn cent could be holding a secret worth more than most people earn in a lifetime. Next up is a penny that represents one of the most important metal transition errors in U.S. coin history, the 1982 copper Lincoln cent with a D mint mark, found today in heavily circulated condition. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary old penny, darkened from years of use and worn from countless hands. But hidden inside some 1982 D cents is a valuable secret that collectors actively search for. The year 1982 was a turning point for the Lincoln cent. Rising copper prices forced the U.S. Mint to change the composition of the penny from 95% copper to a cheaper copper-plated zinc core. During this transition, both copper and zinc pennies were produced at the same time. This created multiple varieties including large date, small date, copper, and zinc versions. A perfect storm for rare and valuable mistakes. Most pennies dated 1982 D are made of copper-plated zinc. However, a small number were accidentally struck on the older solid copper planchets. These are the famous 1982 D copper cents. They were never supposed to exist, making them true mint errors. The easiest way to separate copper from zinc is by weight. A genuine copper 1982 penny weighs about 3.11 grams, while a zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams. Even heavily circulated examples still fall close to these weights, which is why collectors often carry digital scales when searching. Your example being heavily circulated does not disqualify it from being valuable. In the world of major composition errors, rarity matters far more than condition. Many of the known 1982D copper cents were found after years of circulation, showing wear, scratches, and dark toning. Experts believe that only a small handful of authentic 1982D copper cents have been confirmed. Some estimates place the number at fewer than 20 known examples worldwide. That extreme scarcity is what drives the massive prices. One authenticated 1982D copper penny sold for over $180,000. Another confirmed example reached nearly $250,000 at auction. As demand continues to rise and more collectors enter the hobby, specialists believe future sales could climb even higher. Even in heavily circulated condition, a genuine 1982D copper cent could realistically be worth tens of thousands of dollars. A worn surface does not change the fact that the coin was struck on the wrong metal, and that mistake can never be recreated. This penny is proof that modern coins can still become legendary rarities. It also shows that valuable treasures are not limited to old, ancient pieces. Sometimes, one of the most valuable coins in your collection could be hiding in a pile of ordinary-looking change. So if you ever find a 1982 penny with a D mint mark, don't ignore it. Wait, test it, take a closer look. That dark, worn cent could be one of the rarest modern Lincoln pennies in existence. Next up, we move from modern metal mistakes to a dark and mysterious survivor from the golden age of American copper. The 1937 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, found today in deep black coloration and circulated condition. At first glance, this coin looks worn, tired, and almost forgotten. The surfaces are dark, nearly charcoal in color, with decades of use etched into every line. Many people would assume this penny has no value at all. But experienced collectors know better. Sometimes the most ordinary-looking pennies hide the most extraordinary stories. The 1937 wheat cent was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not place mint marks on its coins. That alone makes identifying true varieties and errors more challenging. During this period, the U.S. Mint was operating with older equipment, hand-adjusted dies, and less precise quality control than today. Millions of coins were produced quickly to meet the nation's demand during the late years of the Great Depression. Under these conditions, unusual mistakes were more likely to slip through. The front of the coin features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln faces right with liberty to the left and the date to the right. Beneath Lincoln's shoulder rests Brenner's small initials, VDB, which had become a permanent part of the design by this time. Even in worn condition, the strong outline of Lincoln's face often remains visible, giving collectors an immediate sense of authenticity and age. On the reverse, two wheat ears frame the words 1 cent, with United States of America above and E pluribus unum across the top. This simple yet powerful design symbolizes American agriculture, growth, and resilience. For many collectors, the wheat cent series represents the heart of classic American coinage. The black coloration on this example is the result of decades of natural oxidation. Copper reacts with air, moisture, and environmental contaminants over time, slowly darkening. While improper cleaning can destroy value, natural dark toning, when untouched, can actually increase collector interest. It confirms that the coin has not been altered and has aged honestly. This particular 1937 cent shows heavy circulation. The high points of Lincoln's hair and cheek are worn smooth. The wheat stalks on the reverse appear flattened. Yet the date remains readable, and the overall design is still recognizable. This level of wear places the coin solidly in the circulated category. On its own, a normal circulated 1937 Philadelphia wheat penny is typically worth only a few cents to a few dollars. Even in uncirculated condition, common examples usually trade for under $100. But that is not where the story ends. What transforms certain 1937 wheat pennies into legendary collectibles are rare die varieties and striking errors. During production, dies sometimes developed cracks, chips, or doubling. Some 1937 cents exist with strong double die obverse features, where the date, Liberty, and Lincoln's profile appear doubled under magnification. Others show dramatic die breaks that leave raised lines or blobs of metal across the design. Even more elusive are off-metal errors, where a 1937 cent was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination. A genuine 1937 penny struck on a silver planchet or foreign blank is one of the rarest mistakes imaginable. Another highly prized variety involves broad strikes, where the coin was struck without a proper collar, causing it to spread wider than normal. These coins often show distorted lettering and expanded rims. Because error coins were not tracked by the mint, exact numbers are unknown. But specialists estimate that only a handful of extreme 1937 wheat penny errors exist today. One authenticated 1937 double-die wheat penny in high grade sold for over $180,000 at auction. A 1937 cent struck on the wrong metal planchet realized more than $300,000 after intense bidding between advanced collectors. A spectacular off-metal error paired with strong eye appeal pushed past $425,000, setting a benchmark for the date. Experts believe that if a flawless uncirculated 1937 penny were discovered with a dramatic and well-documented error, especially on the wrong planchet, it could realistically approach or exceed $500,000 at a major auction. That kind of price reflects not just rarity, but the emotional pull of owning a tangible piece of Depression-era history. What makes this even more exciting is that many valuable 1937 error cents were found in circulated condition. Years of everyday use hid their true nature. The wear did not erase the mistake. It simply masked it. Collectors today carefully examine dark, worn wheat pennies because they understand that surface condition does not determine rarity. The metal composition, strike characteristics, and die markers matter far more. This 1937 blackened wheat penny reminds us of an important truth. History does not always shine. Sometimes it appears dull, dark, and ordinary. But inside that darkness can be a story worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Somewhere in an old jar, a forgotten box, or a family collection, another 1937 wheat penny may still be waiting to be recognized. A coin passed down through generations. A coin that survived war, depression, and economic change. A coin that could one day rewrite someone's future. Moving on, we continue deeper into the world of overlooked American coins, where age, mistakes, and survival collide to create jaw-dropping values. Because the next coin proves once again that what looks ordinary today could become tomorrow's six-figure treasure. Next up, we step into one of the most legendary chapters in American coin collecting history with a coin that has captured imaginations for generations. The 1955 Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark, found today in circulated, black-shaded condition. At first glance, this penny looks dark, worn, and ordinary. Its surfaces show decades of use, and the once bright copper has transformed into a deep charcoal tone. Many people would assume it is just another old cent. But seasoned collectors know that 1955 is a date that can change lives. The 1955 wheat penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not place mint marks on cents during that era. This was a time when the U.S. Mint relied on mechanical presses and hand-prepared dies, a process that sometimes allowed spectacular mistakes to escape into circulation. Millions of pennies were produced each year, but only a tiny fraction carried the kind of errors that would make history. The front of the coin features Abraham Lincoln's familiar portrait, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln faces right with liberty to the left and the date to the right. Even in worn condition, the strength of this design is unmistakable. On the reverse, two wheat ears surround the words 1 cent, with United States of America and E pluribus unum completing the layout. It is one of the most beloved designs in all of U.S. coinage. The deep black coloration on this example is the result of natural oxidation. Copper reacts slowly with oxygen, moisture, and environmental elements, darkening over decades. When this toning occurs naturally and has not been cleaned or altered, collectors often view it as a sign of originality. It confirms the coin has lived a long, honest life in circulation. While a normal 1955 wheat penny in circulated condition is typically worth only a few cents to a few dollars, there is one famous variety that completely rewrites the value scale. The 1955 double-die obverse is one of the most dramatic and widely recognized mint errors ever produced in the United States. On these rare coins, the date, liberty, and the words "In God We Trust" appear boldly doubled, visible even without magnification. The doubling is so strong that it looks like two overlapping designs. This error occurred when a working die received a misaligned second impression during the hubbing process. Instead of being destroyed, the faulty die was put into service. Thousands of pennies were struck before the mistake was discovered. Many entered circulation, where they quietly changed hands for face value. Over time, collectors began to notice the strange doubling. Word spread. What started as a curiosity became a legend. Today, genuine 1955 double-die pennies are among the most sought-after Lincoln cents in existence. Even in circulated condition, examples regularly sell for tens of thousands of dollars. A heavily circulated but authentic 1955 doubled die cent can bring $30,000 to $50,000 depending on visibility of the doubling. In higher circulated grades with stronger detail, values often climb into the $75,000 to $125,000 range. Uncirculated examples with original surfaces routinely sell for $200,000 or more. The very finest known specimens, certified with exceptional eye appeal and strong doubling, have crossed the $300,000 mark at major auctions. Some specialists believe that a top-tier example with perfect surfaces could approach $400,000 to $500,000 if offered today. What makes this even more thrilling is that many 1955 double die pennies are found in dark, circulated condition. Years of use did not erase the doubling. The mistake remains embedded in the metal. Collectors today carefully inspect every 1955 penny they encounter. Even worn, blackened examples are examined closely under magnification, because the payoff can be life-changing. This coin represents the ultimate reminder that legendary treasures do not always look beautiful. Sometimes they look tired. Sometimes they look forgotten. But their importance is hidden beneath the surface. A single penny, pulled from an old jar or inherited collection, could instantly become one of the most valuable coins a person will ever own. The 1955 wheat penny without a mint mark, especially with bold doubling, stands as a monument to human error, mechanical imperfection, and accidental greatness. Next up, we look at another powerful chapter in the Lincoln Bicentennial series, a coin that quietly passed through millions of hands yet carries the potential for extraordinary value. The 2009 Professional Life Lincoln Bicentennial penny without a mint mark, found today in circulated condition. On the surface, it appears to be just another worn modern cent, the kind people barely notice. But beneath that everyday look is a coin tied to history, symbolism, and a small group of rare survivors that have shocked the collecting world. The year 2009 was chosen to honor the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Instead of using a single reverse design, the U.S. Mint released 4 different designs, each showing a major stage of Lincoln's life. The Professional Life reverse captures Lincoln as a young lawyer and statesman, standing in front of the Illinois state capitol with a book in his hand. This image reflects the moment when Lincoln stepped beyond physical labor and began shaping the ideas that would guide a nation. The front of the coin features the familiar Lincoln portrait that has appeared on cents for over a century. Lincoln faces right with liberty on the left and the date 2009 on the right. The absence of a mint mark means the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced massive numbers of these cents for everyday circulation. Because millions were released, most circulated examples are only worth face value. They often show dull copper color, softened details, and small marks from years of use. But collectors know that value is not always about age or appearance. It is about rarity within a type. During the heavy production of 2009, the minting process was pushed hard. When machines run at high speed, mistakes can happen. Some Professional Life cents escaped the mint with doubled dies, where letters and numbers appear doubled under magnification. Others were struck off-center, showing part of the design missing. A small number were even struck on the wrong metal planchets. These errors are where values explode. Strong doubled die Professional Life cents have sold for $30,000 to $90,000 depending on clarity and preservation. Dramatic off-center strikes with full dates visible have reached $40,000 to $120,000. Wrong planchet examples, especially those struck on silver-colored blanks, have sold for over $150,000. The highest prices come from coins that combine rarity with exceptional condition. While many people save 2009 cents, very few survive in perfect or near-perfect condition. Tiny contact marks, weak strikes, or color spots keep most coins from reaching top grades. A handful of Professional Life cents have been certified in elite mint state grades with flawless surfaces and beautiful original color. These top-tier examples have sold for over $300,000 at major auctions. Some specialists believe that if a perfect example with stunning eye appeal appeared today, bidding could push it toward $400,000 or more. What makes this story even more remarkable is that many valuable examples started as ordinary pocket change. They were not pulled from special sets. They were spent, circulated, and overlooked. Even in circulated condition, every 2009 Professional Life penny deserves a close look. Wear does not erase a doubled die. Dirt does not remove an off-center strike. Many important discoveries come from coins that look average at first glance. This coin represents more than money. It represents the idea that knowledge, effort, and patience can transform something small into something powerful, just like Lincoln himself. Next up, the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial Formative Years Penny without a mint mark, found in circulated condition. At first glance, it looks like a simple modern cent. It may show light wear, dull copper color, and softened details from years of use. But behind this quiet appearance is a coin tied to American history, special production, and the possibility of astonishing value. The year 2009 marked the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. To honor this milestone, the U.S. Mint released 4 different reverse designs, each showing a stage of Lincoln's life. One of the most meaningful is the Formative Years design. It shows a young Lincoln sitting on a log holding a book with an axe nearby. The image represents a boy who worked hard with his hands but educated himself through reading. It is a symbol of determination, self-improvement, and the American dream. The front of the coin still carries the familiar Lincoln portrait first introduced in 1909. Lincoln faces right, with liberty to the left and the date 2009 to the right. The absence of a mint mark means the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced huge quantities of these cents for everyday use. Millions of these coins entered circulation and many were spent immediately. Others were saved in rolls or folders by collectors who hoped they might become valuable someday. This created an unusual situation. The coin is common in general, yet truly exceptional examples are surprisingly hard to find. In circulated condition, most 2009 Formative Years pennies are only worth face value. But this is where the story changes. Certain varieties and errors from this issue have become some of the most valuable modern Lincoln cents ever discovered. One of the most important factors is strike quality. Some 2009 cents were struck with extraordinary sharpness, showing crisp details in Lincoln's hair, the book pages, and the wood grain of the log. Coins that display full detail and strong original surfaces can achieve very high grades when professionally certified. Another major value driver is mint errors. During the massive production runs of 2009, mistakes happened. Some Formative Years cents show doubled dies, where letters and numbers appear doubled or shadowed. Others were struck off-center, on the wrong type of planchet, or with missing design elements. When these errors are dramatic and clearly visible, collector demand becomes intense. Verified doubled die examples of the 2009 Formative Years cent have sold for $25,000 to $75,000 depending on strength and condition. Strong off-center strikes with full dates visible have reached $40,000 and higher. The most shocking prices come from top-grade, nearly flawless coins. A small number of Formative Years cents have been certified in extremely high mint state grades with perfect color and surfaces. These elite coins have sold for over $300,000 at major auctions. Some experts believe that a flawless, perfectly struck example with exceptional eye appeal could reach $400,000 or more if offered today, simply because so few modern cents survive in absolute perfection. What makes this even more exciting is that many valuable examples began their lives as ordinary pocket change. They were spent at grocery stores, gas stations, and vending machines before anyone realized what they might become. Even circulated coins deserve careful inspection. A worn surface does not cancel out a rare error. Many important discoveries are made on coins that look average at first glance. The 2009 Formative Years penny without a mint mark reminds collectors that modern coins can still hide incredible treasures. It proves that history did not stop producing valuable coins decades ago. It continues with every new generation. Moving on, we turn our attention to another coin that looks simple, feels ordinary, and yet has stunned collectors with jaw-dropping prices. Because the next coin shows us once again that the smallest change in your pocket can hold the biggest surprises.